Hello everyone. In this video we're going to be taking a look at an article from the Independent in the UK written by Mathili Sampath-Kumar. I know I'm killing that, in New York. It was published on the 18th of September. Hillary Clinton refuses to rule out challenging legitimacy of Trump's election win. The former Secretary of State expresses her frustration with Russia's role in the 2016 election in her new book. The thing is, Hillary, they're trying to portray, like, say, with MSNBC, CNN, that she's faded away, she lost. No. She's thinking that her guy Mueller, whatever the hell his name is, because people say it either way, okay? Its descendancy is Mueller. Alright? Anglicized, Americanized, Mueller. But regardless. Alright, the thing is you got a guy that's looking into the whole Russia thing that is like Hillary's bitch, and everyone he's brought on to the investigation is a Democrat or Hillary fucking bitch. Actually, wait a minute. If you're a Democrat bitch, you're Hillary's bitch. That's the bottom line, because even Bernie turned out to be her bitch. But, yeah, so when you have that type of situation going on, and she's not going to refuse to rule out the fact of challenging the legitimacy of the election win, it's because she thinks in the back of her mind she might have a chance to have them install her as the president, which the globalists would love. I mean, this is just my personal opinion, but that's, if it looks like a duck, it walks like a duck, and quacks like a duck, odds are it is a duck. I mean, if you can show me a bird that looks, walks, and you know, quacks like a duck, but isn't a duck, then we have, you know, a different situation. But in this case, that's not going to happen. Hillary Clinton has said that she would not rule out questioning the legitimacy of the 2016 U.S. election over the investigation into Russian interference. Russian interference, okay. So the whole basis for Russian interference is stupid shit like the PIS dossier, which has been proven to be completely fake. Then you're talking about the fact of two articles, one in Sputnik, or I should say two reports. One in Sputnik, because one was written, the other one was video. But something done on Sputnik and another thing done on RT. Now, then you have, oh, well, this hacking. Well, the thing is they couldn't say that they hacked the actual election because none of the election systems are actually networked on the internet or any network that they could have had access to. They would have to hack the machines on the premises, and I highly doubt that you would see Russians hacking those machines. But on the note of when it came to the Democrat primaries and people were trying to cast their vote for Bernie, and it's going, you voted for Hillary, right? Yeah, the thing is, people documented that. A lot of people. See, the Democrats love this projecting shit, and when they can't prove it on the other side, the things pivot, because that's how they work. They actually literally try to accuse their opponents of what they do. Now, getting into this whole Russian interference thing, their basis for this is the fact of WikiLeaks exposing the whole email situation with Podesta and Hillary. Now, what's messed up is there's overwhelming proof up to the point of where WikiLeaks and Julian Assange have all but come out and said he was their leaker, or their source, I should say. I mean, when they're offering rewards for finding Seth Rich's killer, that kind of is a clue. Now, Seth Rich is who leaked all of the damning information, and he did it because he was a Bernie supporter and worked at the DNC and saw what they were doing to Bernie. Now, anyone who has a moral compass and a conscience would have done what he did. And for his trouble, he was one of those ones who, in my opinion, got served up a Clinton double tap. And most of those it's usually a double tap, like execution style situation, and they'll go robbery, which they did with Seth Rich. Nothing's been taken or anything like that. Or they'll do a double tap, quote unquote, suicide. Now, if you look at the Clintons' history in Arkansas and their coroner buddy, he ruled a lot of 2 shots to the head, 2 shots to the heart, suicides. And I want to know how you can literally, sit there, shoot yourself in the head once, scatter your brains across a wall, and then have the ability to shoot yourself again. It don't work like that. The same with dead smack center of the heart. But yet, he has a double tap like that. Oh, nothing to see here. I mean, it literally follows the Clinton pattern. Because one of Bill Clinton's state trooper security, I guess you would say, when he was governor, his wife was about to spill the beans on Bill, and she got a double tap robbery. Or, so, I mean, well, I believe they were separated and it was an ex-wife situation. But yeah, so you have this long-standing history of this type of stuff going on. And they're trying to still push this Russian interference thing. It's ridiculous. And not only that, when you have, as the Hard Bastards covered, the whole situation of proving that the files were downloaded to devices locally because of the speed at which they were downloaded with, along with the fact of the header information, or like basically they falsified the information of where it looked like it was downloaded, like it was done with Russian by Russians, obviously to throw the scent off. And they're using this to say that Russians did it, because if the leak is proven to have come beyond a reasonable doubt to where even the mainstream media has to admit it, to Seth Rich, everything starts piling up at the Clintons' doorstep, and there's nothing that they can do to cover up the fact that he leaked it and then died. I mean, they might find a sacrificial lamb to blame for the murder, but I don't see anyone willing to take the fall for Hillary like that. I really don't. The former Secretary of State told National Public Radio she would dispute Donald Trump's win if it turns out that allegations of Russian hacking were more insidious than the country originally thought. Insidious. Slight problem. The only insidiousness that we have going on here is you and the Democrats. And you're even more insidious because you're willing to sacrifice anyone and everyone to get what you want, to get what you feel that you're entitled to, Hillary. I mean, look at how you turned on the Democrats. The reason why you lost is all on you. But yet, you've blamed Trump, you've blamed his deplorable supporters, you blamed the press when they were fucking rigging shit in your favor, and they were taking, like literally what was being reported as news directly from you and fucking Podesta, and it was all propaganda for you. You blame all the Democrats who sat there and fucking, like, literally were sucking your cock. And from the looks of things, you got a bigger cock than your hubby Bill, okay? And they were deep throating that shit, okay? The Democrats, okay, Pelosi, Schumer, every one of those motherfuckers were going, oh, the glass ceiling and first woman president, and the press, everyone was fucking working for you, and you still lost. But you're trying to blame everyone else. Oh, Russia did it. It was the Russians. Okay? Jesus Christ. You've got no one to blame but yourself. She said, look, if I lost to another Republican, I would be disappointed. I would not agree with a lot of their approach towards economics and other important issues. But I wouldn't fear my country. But I wouldn't fear for my country. Well, that's because if any other Republican had won, with the exception of Rand Paul, because like his father, outside maverick, who manages to get elected because even if they were trying to rig the election, his popularity in his state is so high they couldn't get away with it. People would instantly be like, what the fuck's going on? So yeah, if any of those other motherfuckers won, you wouldn't have a problem because they're the opposite side of the same coin that you are part of. Literally. You are... all you people work together. Not all. Let me rephrase that. The majority of politicians in Washington, okay, are there to play the false left-right paradigm. They might not have got into it with the intention of being part of that, but you end up getting dragged into it. So you might have those few mavericks who manage to keep their noses clean like Rand and Ron Paul did. But you end up with the overwhelming majority of people there becoming part of the false left-right paradigm, playing both sides against the middle. And what ends up happening is you guys are working for things behind the scenes, like the deep state situation, globalism, okay? These are the things that you're actually working towards. Because if you support something like the TPP, you're pro-globalist. If you support something like the UN, you're pro-globalist. Where? Its intent is to literally, it wants to literally become the global government. Now, these globalist families, globalist individuals, however deep, you know, in this country, the deep state that are allied with them, they tried this before all these terms were coined, okay, with the League of Nations. And after the First World War, people woke up to the fact, because they were kind of like open about it. Yeah, well, we wouldn't mind becoming, you know, they were like kind of saying, yeah, well, it'd be a good thing if we became a global government, because you know why? Then you wouldn't have this thing about people infighting like this, because you'd have no national sovereignty and it wouldn't be fighting over national issues. And people went, wait a minute. So, but what about our identities, and what about our interests? And they realized this fact of, if you put a global government in charge, it's not going to see your interests on your level, because it's looking at a picture well beyond that. So when you have that going on, it's going to fail. And they managed to snow job the people, and they get the UN in, and now they're all pushing for this globalist shit. And she's one of these people working for this. I mean, she is in tight with the Bilderberg group. She literally pled guilty to a violation of the Logan Act for meeting with Bilderberg. That's some serious shit. And that was kind of one of the things that blew up the Bilderberg group a little bit and got it a little more attention, to where it's not, you know, to where it wasn't quite mainstream, but people were like, why the hell is she pleading guilty, and what the hell is a Bilderberg group? And they started looking into it. So she's corrupt as all hell. And she thinks that Mueller, that waste of space, and all her little cronies, that she's throwing under the bus, mind you, now, are going to get her installed into power. It's fucking hilarious. Her comments on the Fresh Air program come at a time when there are parallel investigations being run by Congress and the FBI under Special Prosecutor Robert Mueller. Mueller would be M-U-L-L-E-R. So we're going to say Mueller. Okay, by Robert Mueller, into alleged ties between the Trump campaign team and Russian officials, and whether Russian interference in the election was done to benefit Mr. Trump. Now, we'll leave out the fact that it's just been documented and reported on that the Obama administration was illegally wiretapping the Trump administration and the transition team and everything else at the request of Hillary freaking Clinton. I mean, what was it, Daily Caller or something? Where did I read that? I think it was the Daily Caller reported on that. I could be wrong. If anyone knows who first reported it, please put so in the comments. It'd be appreciated. But yeah, so we got no wiretapping going on and no illegal stuff with the Obama administration. But yeah, Russia. Huh, okay. So this is just hilarious, because even if Russia interfered, and no one in the Trump sphere, okay, whether it's pre-White House, like pre-election, pre-White House, post-election, pre-White House, in the White House, okay, doesn't matter. If none of those people don't have any ties, and let's just say for argumentative sake, which is a complete crock. I mean, anyone's going to influence. All right, we do it with other nations and their elections. Okay, we buy ads and stuff like that to try to sway other people's elections. CIA does a hell of a lot more than that to change or influence the outcome of an election. I mean, they're known as the election rigging intelligence agency, on like the one for doing it on the planet. And when you have this situation here, even if those people, as I was saying, don't have any ties, they're still going to try to wrap this around Trump's neck and drown him with it. Even if no one, because they're desperate. They are so desperate it's not even funny. However, this is not to say Mrs. Clinton's would officially call a challenge. What? No, it would be, however, this is not to say Mrs. Clinton would officially call a challenge. What do you, huh? Yes, it is. She would officially call a challenge. If she had enough, like, trumped up, pardon, no pun intended, pardon that fact, but if she had enough trumped up fake evidence that she could get these idiots in the intelligence community that were talking out their ass, like the one that's running the CIR group there, okay, Obama's intelligence lackey, the name's escaping me, that ran the CIA, but he's part of that with Rob Reiner. Okay, anyways, but if those people who like him could trump up enough stuff, okay, no pun intended, poor choice of words because of the whole Trump thing, but regardless, it's appropriate. But if they could trump the stuff up, she'd be going, I want this looked into. This is my right, glass ceiling. I'm misogynist, sexist, racist, stole it from me, and she'd be the first one to be screaming that, getting the pussy hat wearing psychopath, sycophant, you know, middle-aged women who can't find a man and have 4 fucking cats, okay, cheering behind her with Madonna's face drooping down, being taped back, okay, and that sick, twisted judge sister, okay, all right, parading along with her, going, yes, it was stolen, give it to her, and they would demand that shit be handed to her. No ifs, ands, or buts. Even if there was absolutely no proof that there was no communication between Russia and the United States, and if the Russian government, it was tracked back that they even spent 1 ruble on anything that was against Hillary, they would say, oh, influence, it's hers. That's a matter of fucking fact by looking at how they're all acting. At least in my opinion, it's a matter of fact. I mean, look at her. Mrs. Clinton said she would raise questions, but I don't know if there's any legal constitutional way to challenge the results. This is coming from a woman who has gone against the Constitution by literally funneling her PAC money to fund Antifa, to attack this country that she supposedly is supposedly wanting to represent. This was just proven recently. And I'm going to be, even though the article's a few days old, I'm going to be probably putting in, it's going to probably be one of my next few videos, because this is stuff that really needs to get out there. So, yeah, so she's willing to use these little Antifa thugs, okay, and fund them with Soros to try to overthrow this government, this country, to try to cause a revolution. That should say a lot. I love how they throw this in. She won the popular vote by nearly 3 million ballots, but Mr. Trump won the Electoral College, putting him into office. Well, if you look at the fact of Colorado, New Hampshire, and a bunch of the other states now that are showing that there was, you know, either direct fraud or very good signs of it that need an investigation, okay? Because, like, Colorado shows very good signs, and once they look into the actual information, okay, odds are they're actually going to prove that there was at least 8,000 people, because they removed their names from the voter rolls, not thinking that they were already going to be recorded for the election they were just in. and hoping that they wouldn't get caught for probably being registered in multiple states. Now, New Hampshire just said, hey, we had over 5,000 people that supposedly moved here the day of the election for all intents and purposes, and they've never registered a car, never changed their license, never took up residency. So, yeah, my hairy ass, she won by nearly 3 million ballots, okay? And once the fraud investigation gets done, as long as there's legit people doing it, we're going to see how bad the Democrat voter and election fraud really is. And it's been really bad because, hell, it was considered historical fact until, later part of my lifetime that JFK, part of the reason why he got in, okay, was the fact that dead people in Chicago voted for him. They were using the cemetery as their address. So, yeah, that should say a lot. So, yeah, they put him into office. All right, yeah. Now, Miss Clinton's new book, What Happened, is an illustration of her frustration with the events surrounding the election regarding Russia. No, it's her blaming everyone but herself for her own failure. She claimed that Mr. Trump knew Russians were trying to do whatever they could to discredit me with emails. So there's obviously a trail there. What trail? I'd love to know. Because Seth Rich, the poor young guy who got double tapped, it's been pretty much proven he's the one who leaked it. So shut up. Mr. Mueller, for his part, is also said to be investigating whether FBI Director James Comey was sacked by Mr. Trump in order to potentially obstruct the FBI's investigation into the matter. How would that do that? Because the investigation, it's not like he oversees every friggin' investigation. He runs the FBI. He doesn't micromanage. The investigation would have still gone on and happened. Okay, Comey was the fact of he was a Hillary stooge, okay, and basically was saying, to Trump trying to cover, and disarm him while he's trying to stab him in the back, going, oh, no, you're not under investigation, Mr. President. Okay, well, he's kind of letting this lie get perpetuated in the media, when it was his duty to say, look, at this time, we are not investigating him. That would have ended the situation, because he would not do that. He rightfully got fired. End of story. Miss Clinton also said she had won the election by electoral college vote. Said that had she won the election by electoral college vote, she would have appointed an independent commission dedicated to investigating the matter rather than publicly questioning the American intelligence community the way Mr. Trump has done. Yeah, right. Considering your party has been caught over and over and over, okay, committing voter and election fraud, okay, and have deniers like Snopes, who was on the Soros-type payroll, say, oh, no, not true, and the same with Politico. Yeah, bullshit, all right? That's how Kennedy got elected, and, oh, wait a minute, wasn't he a Democrat? Oh, that's right, he was. So keep denying all that stuff that you want, okay? When you have borough presidents in New York saying, oh, yeah, they bust them in and catch them in the act. Yeah, you're guilty. But you're going to try to say, oh, no. So I love this, though, how you portray that. But, okay, let's get this done and over with. In my first day as president, if the intelligence community came to me and said, the Russians influenced the election, I would have never stood for it. They wouldn't have said that. They would not have said that. If you became president, you know for a fact they wouldn't have said that because it's a lie. Because you know that Seth Rich leaked the stuff. And I wish I could remember his name. He's a former Clinton fixer, like election and crooked nose, like, bury bodies out in the woods type of fixer. He's dying of cancer. He's exposed a lot of their stuff. And what he said, they've never gone after him for because they know that he's got the goods on them. And he's exposed a lot of their criminality. And I just love this because this is one of those situations where her criminality, okay, and the DNC's criminality, and the deep state's criminality, and the globalist criminality, okay, going against the Constitution and the laws of this country did not work because the populace said, no, we've had enough. We're not going to be silenced and beat down by your little Marxist things like identity politics, okay? We're done. And we either elected Trump thinking 4D chess, or regardless of good or bad, he's going to throw a monkey wrench into the works. So, you sow what you reap. You treated us like shit. You tried to manipulate us. You tried to steal an election from us. And now you're going to blame everyone but yourself because you lost, even though the fix was in for you. That's pretty sad, Hillary. So, you know, I think I've gone into this well enough. I'm going to basically leave things here, and I'm going to end it at this point. If you liked this video, depending on where you are watching it, please give it an upvote or thumbs up. If you want to know when new content of mine hits the internet, don't forget to subscribe to one or more of my social media or video accounts listed here. Also, with YouTube, don't forget to ring that bell. You can find all of my video content on both BitChute and YouTube. This may not be the case with other places I upload to, but I will try to minimize this happening. You are always welcome to interact with me at any of these sites on the list, so feel free to do so. If you have anything you want me to cover in a video when it comes to news or current events, send it right along to me. I will try to do my best to cover it. As always, thank you for watching.